Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about the three apocalyptic beasts. Firstly, we together understand about apocalyptic symbolism. The book of Revelation, also known as the Apocalypse of John, occupies a unique and profound place within the canon of Scripture. As the final book of the Bible, it serves not only as a conclusion to the grand biblical narrative, but also as a powerful vision of the ultimate destiny of creation. Its genre, apocalyptic literature, is characterized by vivid, often bewildering imagery, cryptic symbols, and dramatic cosmic scenes that seek to reveal the hidden spiritual realities behind the surface of history. Apocalyptic writings emerged in times of great crisis, often when God's people faced persecution, oppression, and uncertainty about the future. Revelation's symbolism, therefore, speaks to both the immediate circumstances of its original audience and to the universal human struggle between good and evil. Central to the book's message is the unveiling of the cosmic battle between divine forces and the powers of darkness, a theme expressed through symbolic figures such as beasts, dragons, angels, and otherworldly visions. Among these, the three apocalyptic beasts stand out as especially significant, representing different phases of evil that oppose God's kingdom. However, to understand these beasts rightly, one must first grasp the nature of apocalyptic symbolism itself. Unlike straightforward historical or prophetic writing, apocalyptic literature uses metaphor, allegory, and symbolic numbers to convey truths that transcend human language and comprehension. These symbols function on multiple levels. They trace the immediate historical situation, reveal deeper spiritual realities, and point toward future fulfillment. This multi-layer communication style requires careful interpretation rooted in biblical theology, historical context, and an awareness of the dense conventions. The author of Revelation, traditionally identified as John the Apostle, wrote during a time when the early Christian community was under intense pressure from the Roman Empire. The beast emerged within this context as representations of oppressive political powers, corrupt religious system, and the satanic forces manipulating them. Understanding the historical background enriches our comprehension of the text, revealing that these symbols are not arbitrary, but grounded in real experiences of persecution and conflict. Moreover, the apocalyptic vision seeks to encourage believers to remain faithful amidst trials by assuring them of God's ultimate sovereignty and victory. This assurance is often caught in the stark imagery of cosmic judgment and the defeat of evil forces. The three beasts embody the full spectrum of opposition to God's reign. The first beast symbolized political and military oppression. The second beast, often called the false prophet, represents religious deception and the promotion of idolatry. The third beast, the dragon, is identified with Satan, the primordial source of evil. Together, they form a triad of antagonistic power aimed at thwarting God's redemptive plan. As we embark on a detailed study of each beast in the chapters ahead, it is vital to remember that these creatures are not merely symbols of fear, but warnings and calls to perseverance, faith, and hope. They challenge readers to discern spiritual realities beneath the surface of worldly events and to stand firm in the assurance that God's justice will prevail. By exploring the symbolism, historical context, and theological significances of this beast, we gain insight into the cosmic conflict that shape human history and the believer's journey. This foundational understanding equips us to navigate the complexities of Revelation with wisdom and reverence, ultimately leading us to a deeper appreciation of God's plan to restore all things through the triumphant Lamb. Now we come to the first beast from the sea. The first beast to emerge in the apocalyptic visions of Revelation rises dramatically from the turbulent sea, a symbol loaded with meaning and threat. This beast, described as having the characteristic of a leopard, a bear, and a lion, presents a composite image of ferocity, agility, and strength that captures the essence of formidable political power intent on opposing God's reign. Each animal imagery is significant. The leopard represents speed and cunning. The bear embodies brute force and destructive power, and the lion stands for royal authority and fearsome might. This combination suggests a power that is not only militarily strong, but also politically true and symbolically regal. The sea from which the beast rises is emblematic in biblical literature of chaos, instability, and the realist message of humanity, a fitting birthplace for a creature symbolizing disorder and opposition to divine order. The beast emerges from the sea, therefore reflects the rise of oppressive regime born out of turmoil and human rebellion against God's sovereignty. In the historical context of Revelation, the beast is widely understood to symbolize the Roman Empire, the predominant force during the late 1st century when the text was composed. Rome's expansive rule was marked by ruthless control, political intrigue, and severe persecution of the early Christian church. The empire's demand for imperial worship and its brutal suppression of dissent fit seamlessly with the beast's characterization as a blasphemous and persecuting entity. The beast's 7 horns and 10 horns further complicate its symbolism. The 7 horns can represent a series of kings or kingdoms, or more broadly, the fullness of worldly power. The 10 horns are often interpreted as 10 subordinate rulers or regional authorities allied with the beast's power, indicating a complex political system of control and domination. This imagery conveys not only the mind of the beast, but also its extensive political network and influence. One of the most enigmatic and discussed feature of the first beast is the infamous number 666, described as the number of the beast. This number has generated countless interpretations, both scholarly and popular. Many biblical scholars see 666 as a cryptogram, likely referring to Emperor Nero through the practice of gematria, where letters are assigned numerical values. Nero's notorious reputation of cruelty, especially toward Christians, makes him a fitting historical parallel for the beast. The numbers used serve a dual purpose. It conceals the beast's identity from hostile authority, while signaling to believers the true nature of their oppressors. The first beast's authority extends beyond mere political power. It also performs signs and wonders designed to deceive humanity and command worship. This ability to mimic divine power highlights the spiritual threat posed by the beast, as it seeks not only to control through force, but also to entice through false miracles and idolatry. The worships of the beast symbolize the ultimate rejection of God, a false allegiance that endangers souls and perpetuates evil's reign. This chapter explores this theme in depth, examining the symbolic significance of the beast animal characteristics, its political and spiritual authority, and its role as the primary antagonist against God's people. Understanding the first beast from the sea equips readers to recognize the multifaceted nature of evil's power in the world and the challenges faced by believers in maintaining faith and loyalty to God amid persecution and deception. Chapter 3 is about the second beast from the earth, the false prophet. The second beast is to appear in the apocalyptic vision of Revelation raised from the earth, contrasting sharply with the first beast that emerged from the sea. This beast, often referred to as the false prophet, presents itself with two horns like a lamb, but speaks with the voice of a dragon. This striking imagery highlights its deceptive nature, outwardly appearing gentle, innocent, and even divine, like a lamb, yet inwardly allied with the malevolent power of the dragon, Satan. The lamb's horns symbolize authority and power, but the beast dragon-like spirit reveals its true allegiance to evil and its role as a cunning deceiver. Unlike the first beast, whose power is predominantly political and military, the second beast exercises religious and ideological influence, possessing and compelling humanity to worship the first beast and reject the true God. This false prophet performs great signs and wonders, including miracles that deceive many people. These signs are not genuine acts of divine power, but manipulation designed to mislead and trap souls in idolatry and spiritual bondage. One of the most chilling aspects of the second beast influence is its performance of the mark of the beast, the symbol or sign placed on the right hand or forehead of those who pledge allegiance to the first beast. This mark served as a spiritual and economic tool of control, separating the faithful from the deceived and determining who can participate in commerce and society. The mark represents not just political loyalty, but a deeper spiritual compromise, a public declaration of allegiance to evil rather than God. The rise of the second beast reflects the pervasive power of false religions and ideological deception in the world. It illustrates how evil operates not only through brute force, but through subtle manipulation, appealing to people's desire for sight, wonder, and belonging. By imitating Christ, the Lamb, while speaking with the dragon's voice, the false prophet embodies the ultimate counterfeit, leading many astray under the guise of holiness and truth. Historically, the beast has been understood to represent corrupt religious authority and systems that collaborate with oppressive regimes, supporting idolatry and suppressing true faith. Its role is critical in the apocalyptic drama as it intensifies the persecution of believers by compelling worship at the first beast and fostering a climate of spiritual deception and apostasy. In this chapter, we delve into the symbolism of the second beast, exploring its appearance, action, and profound spiritual significances. By understanding the nature and methods of the false prophet, believers are warned to remain vigilant against deception, to discern truth from falsehood, and to hold fast to their faith despite the allure of counterfeit miracles and pressure to conform. This detailed study equips readers to recognize the ongoing dangers of false teachings and to resist the spiritual seductions that threaten the church throughout history and into the present age. The final beast is the dragon, the ancient adversary. The third and most terrifying of the apocalyptic beasts in the book of Revelation is the dragon, a primal symbol of evil and chaos that predates the other two beasts and represents the ultimate adversary of God and His creation. Unlike the first two beasts, which arrived from the sea and the earth, the dragon's presence is cosmic and eternal, embodying the ancient rebellion against divine authority. Described vividly as a great red dragon with 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon its head, this creature symbolizes the fullness of satanic power and malign influence in the universe. The red color evokes bloodshed, violence, and destruction, while the multiple heads and horns signify vast authority and terrifying strength. The crowns on the dragon's head indicate a claim to rulership, a counterfeit sovereignty that opposes God's rightful reign. This dragon is identified clearly in Revelations as Satan, a deceiver and accuser who wages a relentless war against God's people. From the very beginning, the dragon has been the source of evil, tempting humanity into sin and orchestrating rebellion against the Creator. In ancient enmity is revealed most dramatically in Revelation's depiction of the war in heaven, where Michael and his angels fight against the dragon and its angels. Though defeated and cast out to the earth, the dragon's fury is identified, leading to a continued campaign to destroy the followers of God. The dragon's growth as the supreme mover behind the other beasts highlights the interconnectedness of the forces of evil. The first beast representing political oppression and the second beast embodying false religion, both act under the dragon's influence and authority. This cosmic hierarchy of evil reveals a sophisticated spiritual battle waged not only in the earthly realm, but also in the heavenly spheres. Throughout the biblical narrative, Satan's methods have included deception, accusation, and temptation. The dragon's ability to deceive the whole world and to rally the beast against the saint illustrates the pervasive danger he poses. His power is not absolute. He is ultimately subject to God's sovereign will, but his malevolence and cunning make him a formidable opponent in the spiritual conflict. The dragon also symbolized the origin of cosmic conflict rooted in pride and rebellion. Once a magnificent angel created by God, Satan's fall results from his desire to exalt himself above the Creator, leading to a catastrophic rupture in the heavenly order. This backstory enriches our understanding of the dragon's character and motive, portraying him as the archetype of evil and the embodiment of all that is opposed to God's holiness and justice. In this chapter, we explore the dragon's symbolism, his story, and role within the apocalyptic vision. We examine the cosmic war in heaven, the dragon's earthly influence, and the ongoing spiritual battle that shapes the destiny of humanity. Understanding the dragon's nature is crucial to comprehending the full scope of the apocalyptic drama and the forces arrayed against God's plan of redemption. As we delve deeper into the narrative, it becomes clear that the dragon's defeat is as well through the sacrificial victory of Christ. Yet, the struggle continues until the final judgment. This knowledge offers hope and encouragement to believers, reminding them of the ultimate triumph of good over evil, despite present trials and persecution. The apocalyptic narrative reaches its climatic crescendo as the forces of good and evil prepare for the final confrontation, a cosmic battle that will determine the ultimate fate of the universe. This decisive conflict, foretold in vivid and dramatic imagery throughout the book of Revelation, symbolizes the culmination of the spiritual warfare that has been raging since the dawn of creation. The final confrontation is not merely a physical battle, but a profound spiritual and moral reckoning between the sovereign God and the rebellious powers that have sought to undermine his authority. At the center of this great conflict stands the figure of Christ, the Lamb who was slain but lived again. His victory over sin, death, and the forces of darkness is the foundation upon which the ultimate defeat of evil is assured. The narrative depicts Christ as a conquering king, riding a white horse whose eyes blazed with fire and whose robe is dipped in blood, a powerful symbol of both justice and mercy. His name is the Word of God, and from his mouth issues a sharp sword, the instrument by which he will execute judgment upon the nations. Opposing him are the beast and the dragon, the manifestation of worldly and satanic powers, who marshal their armies for battle. Despite their formidable strength, their doom is sealed by the righteousness and omnipotence of Christ. The book of Revelation portrays that defeat as swift and thorough, emphasizing the sovereignty of God and the futility of rebellion against him. The dragon is seized and cast into the abyss. The beasts are destroyed and the false prophet is condemned. This cosmic judgment is not an arbitrary act of wrath, but the necessary restoration of divine justice and the purification of creation. The final confrontation also underscores the role of the faithful, those who have remained steadfast in their allegiance to God despite persecution, deception, and suffering. Their saints are depicted as victors themselves, clothed in white robes, holding palm branches, and standing before the throne of God. Their perseverance is a testament to the power of faith and the hope of redemption that sustains believers through trials. This chapter delves deeply into the imagery, symbolism, and theological significance of the final battle, exploring its implications for the understanding of evil, justice, and salvation. It highlights the tension between divine sovereignty and human freedom, the reality of spiritual warfare, and the assurance of God's ultimate triumph. As the narrative draws to a close, the vision transitions from judgment to a promise of a new heaven and a new earth, where pain, death, and suffering will be no more. The final confrontation is thus not an end in despair, but a gateway to eternal hope and restoration, a testament to the enduring love and faithfulness of God. With the defeat of the dragon and the fall of the beast, the apocalyptic storm begins to lift, revealing a breathtaking vision of renewal, peace, and eternal glory. From the ashes of war and judgment emerged a promise fulfilled, the creation of a new heaven and a new earth. The climatic chapter marks the restoration of all things, the ultimate reversal of the course plot by sin, and the eternal dwelling of God with His people. The imagery is majestic and radiant. The former things has passed away. No more death, no more sorrow, no more crying or pain. The first earth and heaven, corrupted by rebellion and decay, are replaced by a reality untouched by the forces of evil. It is not merely a repaired version of the old world, but a radically transformed cosmos where righteousness dwells eternally. At the heart of this new creation stands the New Jerusalem, descending from heaven like a bride adorned for her husband. This holy city is the epicenter of divine presence, a place where God dwells directly among humanity. No longer is there a temple, for God Himself is the temple. The walls, the foundation, the gates, all inscribed in precious stone and gold, are not those marks of splendor, but representations of purity, permanent, and the unbreakable covenant between God and His redeemed people. The gates are never shut, for there is no night, no threat, no evil. The light of God and the Lamb illuminate everything, and the nation walk by their glory. In this restored order, the curse that once blocked creation is lifted. The tree of life stands tall again, bearing fruit for the healing of the nation, and the river of life flows clear as crystal from the throne of God. These symbols harken back to Eden, but there is no man returned to paradise lost. It is paradise glorified, expanded, and perfected. The redeemed dwell with God forever, serving Him, seeing His face, and bearing His name upon their foreheads. There is perfect communion, unhindered worship, and everlasting joy. This chapter unpacks the theological depth of this final vision, how it fulfills the long arc of Scripture from Genesis to Revelation, how it resolves the human longing for dusty, peace, and belonging, and how it invites every believer to live in the hope of eternal life. It reveals that God's plan was never merely to destroy evil, but to recreate all things in love, beauty, and truth. The new heaven and new earth stands as the final testimony of God's faithfulness, mercy, and absolute sovereignty. Upon history, on suffering, and on battles find the meaning in this final act of divine renewal. The Lamb who was slain reigns forever. The saints who endure lies stay in His kingdom. And the glory of God covers everything, was water covered the sea. The end is not despair but eternal beginning, an unbreakable promise that the dwelling of God is now with His people forever and ever. Next, we will talk about the legacy of the three beasts, the eternal echo of deception. Even after the fall and defeat, the shadow of the three beasts lingers, etched into the soul of history like the scars of a great war. The dragon, the beast from sea, and the beast from the earth, though cast down, judged, and destroyed, have left behind a legacy more haunting than their presence, a legacy of deception, rebellion, and counterfeit worship. Their influence does not vanish with their end. It reverberates across generations, echoing in the memory of mankind and the fabric of fallen creation. The dragon, ancient and malevolent, saw the first seeds of doubt against God in the heavenly realms. And then up on the earth, his whispers were not merely lies, but calculated perversion of truth. The beast from the sea, crowned with blasphemous name, drew all through strength, conquest, and illusion of invisibility, enslaving the hearts of men to worldly power and godless authority. The beast from the earth, with a voice like a dragon cloaked in lamb, like deception, was the master of religious manipulation, seducing the masses into spiritual complacency, false worship, and the embrace of idols bearing no life. Their reign, though temporary, rewrote the spiritual narrative of millions whose consciences were bent to God idolatry. Whole system of governance grew out of the architecture of the first beast's dominion, and false prophets echoing the second beast's voice, cloaked in the language of sacred truth. The mark of the beast, whether literal or symbolic, become more than a sign of allegiance. It became a brand of own conscience, shaping how humanity saw power, truth, and even God Himself. The three beasts distorted the image of God in man and replaced it with a corrupt, worldly substitute. Even after the throne in the final judgment, humanity remains haunted by the system they built. Regimes of control, religions devoid of spirit, economies of greed, and philosophy that dethrone the Creator in favor of self. This legacy is not thus external, it is internal, lurking in the human heart, where pride, fear, the lust of control, and the craving of false beasts remain embers waiting to ignite. The book of Revelation was not only a vision of cosmic war, but a mirror held up to every generation. The three beasts may no longer stand, and their ideologies continue to tempt, to destroy, and to deceive. Their memory becomes the warning. Evil is not always monstrous in form. It often arises in splendor, order, and false promise. That is the true honor of their legacy. They did not force, they seduced. They did not destroy outright, they corrupted from within. Yet, within this grim inheritance lie a divine opportunity, the call to discernment, to resistance, and to spiritual awakening. To remember the beast is not to fear them, but to understand the gravity of what was at stake, and to choose differently. God, in His mercy, allowed their rise and recorded their fall, not for fascination but for formation, that future generation might not be ignorant of their device, that the third might not slip under the lullaby of the second beast, that no soul might take the mark unaware. The legacy of the three beasts becomes a final testament to the depth of human vulnerability of the heads of divide the state. And even in their own, they serve God's purpose, not by their will, but by His sovereignty. The names are remembered not in glory, but in warning, not in honor, but as cautionary pillars to every age that forgets the cost of forgetting God. Out of the ashes of judgment and the silence that follows the fall of the great deceiver, rise a vision unlike any other, a vision not of dread, but of radiant hope. For at the center of the cosmic saga, beyond the fury of the three beasts and the trials of the saint, stands the Lamb, slain yet victorious, meek yet majestic. He is the ascent upon which His story turns, and the door that breaks eternal night. The Lamb who poured the wrath of sin, who walked among men in the dust of mortality, who opened the seals and poured out the dead. He now emerged in resplendent triumph. The heavens part not with wrath, but with welcome. No longer is there the sound of woe or the trumpet of war, but the song of the redeemed, of every tribe, tongue, and nation, singing to the one who has made all things new. The triumph of the Lamb is not merely over the beast or the dragon. It is over every lie, every chain, every shadow that ever haunted the children of God. Where once thrones of darkness ruled, now the throne of God and of the Lamb stand unshaken. The city of God, the new Jerusalem, descends like a bride adorned for her husband, radiant with jewels not forged by men, but formed by grace. Its gates never closed, its was never threatened, and within its bounds is no night, no curse, and no death. The river of life flows from the throne, clear as crystal, and on its banks stands the tree of life, once bred from Eden, now given freely to all who thirst for eternity. In this glorious restoration, justice and mercy impressed. The oaths of the saints are held. Every tear is wiped away, not forgotten but transformed. The mortal who once cried from beneath the altar now walk in gardens of peace, clothed in garments of white. The humble are lifted, the faithful regarded, and the broken made whole. Nothing unclear enters the city, no beast proved its borders. Here the Lamb is the light, and his presence is dwelling of all who believed, not in their strength but in his sacrifice. The triumph of the Lamb is also the fulfillment of every promise, the sealing of every covenant, the answer to every prayer uttered in pain. He who sits on the throne declares, "Behold, I make all things new." And it is not a partial restoration, but a total renewal of the heavens, the earth, the soul, and the cosmic. No more hunger, no more war, no more temple, for the Lamb himself is the temple. Worship becomes unbroken communion, faith becomes sight. God and man walk together, not in fleeting moments, but in eternal fellowship. And yet, the victory of the Lamb is not only cosmic, it is intimate. He calls his people by name. He welcomes them not as subjects, but as sons and daughters. He is not a distant ruler, but a shepherd king, forever among his people. The Lamb who once stood silent before his accuser now reigns with a voice like many waters, proclaiming peace everlasting. The scars in his hand are not hidden, but glorified, eternal reminders not of pain, but of love's triumph. Thus ends up the story of the three beasts, not in their terror, but in their defeat. Therefore begins the unending story of the kingdom of God, not in mystery, but in unveiled glory. The Lamb has overcome, the saints have prevailed by his blood and their testimony. The heavens declare it, the earth rejoices in it, and the redeemed live it forevermore. Now the final vision settled like came after the storm, a stillness not of emptiness, but of fulfilled promise. The world is over, the beasts have fallen, and the Lamb reigns in eternal light. Yet, as the curtain falls on the apocalypse, the last words are not only those of celebration, but of solemn remembrance. The eternal kingdom has come, not as a mere dream, but as the divine reality in which justice, love, and glory breathe as the atmosphere of a new creation. And yet, amid this joy, a warning echoes, a tragedy of the three beasts must never be forgotten, lest the world again forget the God who saved it. The eternal kingdom is a place of pure order and holy beauty, untouched by decay or sin. The redeemed dwell not as strangers in a foreign land, but as citizens of a divine homeland, long promised and now revealed. In this city of light, there is no more curse, no more night, and no more separation. God walks with his people, and the Lamb dwells among them forever. The former things have passed away, not erased, but fulfilled and transcend. History finds its meaning here. Time, once marked by war and waiting, now flows into eternal like a river into the sea. That, amid the joy of the saint, the story of the dragon, the beast from the sea and the beast from the earth is preserved, not as a terror to be dwelt upon, but as a warning to be remembered. For their strategies were ancient, their disgrace seductive, and their deception subtle. They offer peace through control, salvation through compromise, and glory through self-worship. Even now, in the memory of the redeemed, the false promises remain a monument to what was nearly lost. The legacy of the three beasts is displayed in heaven, not as relics of power, but as subtle idols. Testimony of how low creation fell and how high grace ascended to restore it. The kingdom stands not merely because evil failed, but because the Lamb prevailed. His victory was not through force, but through the cross. His kingdom is not built on domination, but on sacrifice. And every soul that enters this city comes not through conquest, but through surrender, through the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. They are victors not by their strength, but by their faith. They are kings and priests, not because they rose in power, but because they knelt in humility. But the everlasting warning still stands. The world may be wounded, and the heart of man remains evil, vulnerable. Until the end of the time, those on the earth must remember what pride did to the angels, what deception did to the nation, what idolatry did to the soul. The book of Revelation is not merely prophecy, it is a map. It shows where darkness leads, and it lies to the path to life. It calls to every generation, do not follow the beast, do not be mocked by his lies, do not sell the soul for comfort or acclaim. Choose instead the way of the Lamb, the way of surrender, faith, and eternal joy. The story ends not in despair but in glory. The gates of the eternal kingdom remain open. The Spirit and the bride say, "Come." Let the one who hears say, "Come." Let the one who is thirsty come and drink freely from the water of life. For the Lamb who was slain lives forever, and his kingdom shall never be shaken. The three beasts are gone, but the Lamb endures, and those who belong to him shall shine like the sun in the Father's kingdom forever and ever. Thank you for listening and joining me in learning about the three apocalypse beasts. Please leave your comments, like this video and share it with others. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more great Bible story. Goodbye and see you in next videos.